heard, my company is Black Series Edition LLC, Crystal Edge Technology Screens, and our FLE BT company. I'm over here sorting it out because, as I said before, I want to make this area a storage hub for my stuff. And I've had to go through box after box after box after box of cables, wires, nuts, bolts, screws, nails, you name it. I've already been through it. And that's not even the half of it. Once I hit the storage unit, I got about 10 bags of cables in there. Whew. 10 bags of cables, which I had no idea what's in them. I know this is a staple gun. Definitely need that. The thing about it is when I go on site, I won't have to what's in here? I won't have to carry a lot of stuff, which that's what we want to get it down to. So if anyone's ever done it before, and sort through your bag of nuts and bolts, you already know the headache behind it all. We don't. This is what? This is miscellaneous. We're not even using this. This is controls. This is going to brackets. That's for brackets. That's a tool. It's definitely a bracket. On controls. This is a tool. Let's see. Screws. Some old business cards. I'm gonna get the same ones made with my new number on it. Where the frig is this going to? Oh, I guess down here. I guess be a part of that. Actually, technically, that needs to be in this bag over here. I missed that. I know I did. All right, these are wires. So my wires. That needs to be in that bag over there. And these are Allen wrenches that can go there. We don't need this. This goes to and that goes over there for those tools. And screws, which I desperately needed for building stuff and couldn't find any of my screws at all. Copyright-free loft music. What's this doing here? That's not supposed to be in there. Right. I think this with the staple gun, definitely want to keep this separate. Over there. This is batteries. This is batteries we don't even use anymore. Why we have a whole bunch of batteries? This is dangerous. A bunch of batteries in there. We're not even using. All this is trash. That's all trash. That's all trash. Munch springs, some more of those. Small screws, I can use these. No grabbing up small screws. So I figure I'd get in and get this done because I had everything thrown into this box and I just couldn't find like nothing. I'm not going to rebuy all this stuff all over again when I've got tons of screws and bolts and everything that I need for work. Just got to get in here and dig through this mess. So, you know, if people have workshops or whatever you may have in the day, or you have a drawer where you keep all your stuff in, you know, sooner or later you got to go in and you got to sort that mess out, which is backbreaking. I don't need all of these, but I do need a majority of them. It was worth it than this. It was dirty up to here with stuff. So the fact that I got it down to this, I'm actually quite pleased. It was way worse. This came from me just throwing everything into one big box, not sorting out jack, and then, just looking for this tool. Found a whole bunch of stuff. My rotary tool, I must have bought like 4 or 5 sets of those different attachments. Didn't have to if I had went through this thing. Would have saved myself some money. And this right here, we don't need it. Where's the staple box? This thing emptied out too. What are these? Set for that. Tons of parts in here I can use with my PC design over there. But I need parts. And everything I need for that. These tiny little screws. I'm gonna put these here. These are extra tiny. That. That's trash. That's definitely trash. Pretty much empties that box out. Oh yeah, definitely need these. Oh, we're looking for these and I couldn't find any of them at all. And now we got them. I'm gonna put them right in there. I need those. I was looking for those. That is a tool piece. Anchors, screw anchors. I got tons of these. Twist sides. Desperately need. Never find those. Be great. I got to do wire management when I start working on the other computer, the retro gaming cardboard box. So now we got our twist ties. Don't have to spend the money for that. But we can make all these glow in the dark anyway. Oh, this is cool. I like that. I want to do that over there. Oh, no. We need to get right back in that box. Find you for later on. Let's get some of this trash out of here. This is a stencil. This is for artwork. Put that over there. I gotta find my stencils too. Got a bunch of stencils. Can use that. This is a good set of trash in there. That's a good set of twist ties right in there. Now my next project I'm going to be working on for projector mapping is going to be my vortex. I need that. My volcano. I'm gonna start building that pretty soon. My volcano. Start working on a design for that. All these batteries. These batteries just came from me buying constant batteries over and over again for my remote controls. Let's see, we have a box for art supplies. I just ordered, I don't know how many. I say close to about maybe 150, 160 different forms of boxes from the United States Postal Service. Some I'm going to need definitely for work, and others that I actually ordered for my box sculptures involving the projector mapping technology. I could literally make a little mini PC in this right here. It's like a little tiny PC tower. It's actually a perfect size too. is going to be for my glue and things I need to design my cardboard sculptures. Go pick up some paints. So the hobby paints we pick up, we'll convert them into glow-in-the-dark paints. And I just found, let me see, one of these. So it's great to have all my stuff organized. I don't really look for anything anymore. Some rags. Ooh, I can get something really cool out of this. I'm gonna put that right there for you, so I can build something with that. See, there's a difference on how people see art. Some people look at an object and they just see a tire. Other people see it and they see so many different things out of that one tire. Those are the people who have the ability to think outside the box. They have that capability. So they see things differently, see the world completely differently. Some people may see an abandoned house, they see a beautiful patio or something they could design at some loft or whatever they want to build, a workshop. That's what they see. They see the world differently. That's why when I explain to people that we're not on your level, it's not to be rude, it's to tell you that I don't think the way you think. You see stuff, you just see a floor. Me, I see a projection screen. That's what I see. Every time I walk around, I see screens popping up. There's an area that I walk through, sometimes go to the Dominican restaurant to go pick up my food, and they have this huge billboard out there, and I just see this projection screen and how they can advertise. That's what I see. Just like that CD. You just might see a scratchy CD. I see something completely different here. I see a piece of art. So that's why that when we do stuff with projectors, we just don't do it to the wall. We do it everywhere. So we can show that you can think way outside the box. If you want to build a screen, you can make it out of cardboard if you want. Make it out of anything you want. You don't have to be stuck to the tradition of a pine wood frame screen. And no, you can take a bed sheet, turn into a projection screen. Take styrofoam, turn into a projection screen. Anything you want. Right there. See right there? That's my PC desk right there. It's all trash. All of it. It's all cardboard screen, piece of old plywood, and dirty workbench that I found. Out of the trash. And once we code our technology to it, which I was explaining that, you know, we want to get into the field of recycling materials to basically use those materials for designing our plexiglass screens. Anything that we coat with our technology becomes a high performance screen. But before you can actually get to that point to make that claim, and I know people are going to hate for saying this, but it's true, you're going to have to do tons of testing to prove this theory. Can't just make stuff up. Like, see that box right there? I can convert that into a screen. And that screen right there will have the ability to be ultra short though, fully outlit environments. I can take on certified screen. I can do anything I want with that technology. So, you know, before you can get to that point of making those claims, you gotta back it up. Because maybe on YouTube you can get away with a little bit, but out there it ain't gonna fly. Any manufacturing company that may want to pick you up, sign you to a contract, ain't gonna fly. You're gonna have to be to prove everything you said. I've said this over and over and over again, but I got a company I can put down at the bottom, and I guarantee you, they contact that company, I guarantee you, and this guy's a nice person too at the end of the day. I guarantee the first he's going to say out of his mouth is, well, we'll manufacture your product. They will help you out. They will basically distribute your product, but you're going to have to tell them the truth on the product. If you say you have a gray paint, you know what they're going to say? Well, what's the difference between your stuff and my gray wall painted in my living room or something I can pick up at Home Depot or Lowe's? They're literally going to say that. And you're going to have to show them the difference. So they're going to say, hey, what's your website? And I ask for all your information, and they're going to go through your stuff, and they're going to say, okay, you say you do this, that, and the other. Do you have proof of this and videos? And sometimes the videos are not enough. Sometimes they want you to send in samples that you actually can do this. Heck, I could fly out there and paint that screen if I want to. So that's why I said it's a requirement. You're going to have to. I can show you on my YouTube channel where people have flown me out to their state to paint a screen in, to do a demonstration over there. Yeah, you're going to have to. Other than that, it's not going to work. So I guess they take it as me basically, I don't know how you would take it. Maybe you think I'm bragging. Why? Because my stuff is tested? Because I did the work. That's why I can say that. You got to do the work. So you can't get mad about it. You know, you shortchange yourself when you do that. Let's get back to our pile of sorting out the madness. Actually, this is a projection screen on the other side. I painted it. There are screws. Oh, man. I felt so sorry for this one guy. He sorted out his entire toolbox just to come in, and he hit something and it opened up and everything spilled on the ground. I was like, oh my God, I know what that feels like. That is freaking absolute freaking, just, you can't do anything after that. Just look at it and just go get a beer or somewhere and just sit down in the corner, process, come back to it tomorrow. You can't deal with that right now. You just can't. You'll find yourself up in a bell tower somewhere. You just can't process that. It's all those, no, you can't. Just gotta come back and get it. Sometimes if you go to somebody's shop and you may see a pile of nuts and bolts on the floor, like, hey, you gonna clean that up? Like, just leave it be. I'll get to it later on. But you can't process it right now. That's a lot of work. I was like, sheesh. Feel sorry for dude. What's this right here? Oh my goodness. A little young one gave me that. Yeah, just let it go. Let's see what else we got here. Any more trash? Can dig up. But yeah, I see things differently. I don't see things the same way. That's why I like going to the art museum, and I like looking at the different forms of art. It gives me ideas on things I want to design and things I want to put together. Is this still good? This is actually still good. Where's my art box? It goes in the art box. That same imagination, that same seeing things differently, it's the same thing that feeds over into projection screens. It's the same thing. Projectors are, when we first showing demonstrations off the floor, we had people coming in that were saying, well, the haters were coming in saying, well, you know, projection screens were meant to be used on the floor. Wow, small-minded. You ever heard of interactive floors? You ever seen them? They got them over in Japan. They got them in Australia. Yeah, a lot of places they have them at. Floor is actually a projection setup, and there's a sensor on each side that makes the floor touchable. You can come in, you can touch the koi fish and put bubbles in the water and all kinds of stuff you can do with it. So people do project the floors. They also project the ceilings also too. I saw that where I got the idea for the ceiling projection, I was looking at different ways of using projectors, and there is a museum, I don't know what country it is, I can't remember, but it's probably Paris, one of them. But anyway, they were literally projecting an entire universe off a ceiling, and I was like, wow, that is freaking crazy. Like, to be able to turn the ceiling into another world, that'd be amazing. And that's where I started doing my research and figuring out what projectors would work well. Would it project into the ceiling? I tried ultra short throw. They didn't do too well. And then I tried because it's hard to get an ultra short throw with a lens shift. That's the problem. It would work, but you have to be, it's kind of interesting how the projector has to sit in order to hit the center of the screen. And you have to have some kind of lens shift capability to push the screen out into the center. Or the other way you have to do it is you have to build the stand with a little bit of a tilt so it pushes the screen outward, and then you have to keystone it in place. That's another way you can do it that way too. But the ultra short, those are a headache to use. So tried that, didn't work. The venue projectors, even the regular home theater projectors don't work because again, it's a long throw and you're 8 feet from the ceiling or 9 feet from the ceiling, so you're really not going to get a really big screen. So the only projector that did work was the short throw. It was perfect. I mean, at 5 feet, if you get the older models have the big lenses. Those are the older ones. The NECs have them. They have the big lens. Those are the real ultra short throws, real short throws. The new short throws they make that have the smaller lens, they cheat you. So they give you a projector that at 100 inches, not 5 feet, you get 100 inches off one of the new ones. I did a demonstration on that. The older ones at 5 feet, you can pick up at 180 inches at 5 feet. So dramatic difference on what they did. So yeah. So you want to get one of those. It's NEC projectors, and they're not expensive. They're like 150. You pay under $150 for one of them. So that's what I did. And that's how I was able to stand the projector up. I put a couple of boxes underneath of it, small boxes, so that way the cables and cords weren't hitting the ground. And I was able to get the image to push up off the ceiling. So the next step was to build a stand that would be perfect, that I can actually fit the projector in like a magazine rack. And it would leave all the wires and cables so they weren't getting bent or pressed. Or you just get these right here. These come in handy. Ugh, let me get it. You want to get something like this. These are flat cables right here. You use these when you're doing floor projections. And see how the cable's flat, it's not pushing out, so it lays flat against that. And then the other piece, plug this wherever you want to put it, at your computer, whatever. Or just want to get a fire stick, put a fire stick up there, which I prefer, is much better. It's doing a fire stick, because then it's remote control, and you change out the scenery to anything you want. And that's how all that started, because I saw something that somebody did in a museum, and I thought to myself, I could do that. And just figured a way how to do it. So, yeah, I tried all different forms of, the black was the one that actually did the best, because it absorbed more light. So different, just trying different stuff out. This, my friend was looking at this, he's like, this would have made a great AMSR video, because you could hear the stuff moving around, but I don't have one of those microphones. Okay, let me see. These are, rest of the stuff we're collecting right there. At least I don't have to buy any more nuts and bolts for a while. That's my nuts and bolts over there. That's smaller nuts and bolts and screws. Come in handy if I'm building stuff. But yeah, you gotta make sure, your stuff has to be tested. It has to be, you know? It has to be. When I'm done all this, I'm going to do a demonstration. We have a surface over there that's coated, and it's coated in projector mapping technology. We're going to hit it with the projector mapping and show you why it doesn't work on a gray screen, why it doesn't register on a white screen. I don't just use video demonstrations on YouTube. I'm on a bunch of platforms on Facebook. As a matter of fact, I just joined a couple of them for projector mapping applications. And again, as I said before, you know, you have to read the Infinity. You have to. It's a need, it's a must. Would I map off gunmetal? I can map off for gunmetal. It's dark enough, but no, you need that 1% black. It just comes out much better. So, it doesn't work on the gray and white screens. And I've seen it already. When I had my Lifeform, and they had their group site. Oh, the group site. It's still up and active too. I got to go back there and rejoin. I got some stuff I want to show off. But okay, we don't want that in there. And we definitely need this right here. We definitely need that. And we need that. But it doesn't pick up. You know, people want to take it and be angry about it, but it's the truth. I mean, come on, you got to be truthful with it. You know what I mean? Don't get mad at me. At the end of the day, it is the truth. You're gonna lie to your customers and say, "Hey, we pick up a customer." Customer comes up to you and says, "Hey, we got to paint this dome in this museum, and we need to pick up a 100% contrast level." What are you going to say to them? You're going to explain to them that, oh, you can pick it up if you spend the money for a very expensive projector with a high contrast. But that's literally the only way they're going to be able to. Now they can't even do it at that. They can't read it. So they go out and you advise them to go spend the money for this high expensive projector for them to find out that they still can't do it. They're going to be ticked off. They're going to be extremely ticked off. That's why they come to us. Because they know our stuff is black. We can pick up with no problem whatsoever. And then on top of that, they did a research on our company. They looked at how much testing we had. Before someone's going to paint a ceiling black, that's a big step. They have to make sure we know what the freak we're talking about. So they're going to go through all our test demonstrations. Not always, a lot of them. They're going to go through a lot of them to see exactly how far we go back, how long we've been doing this, how much experience we have in the field. They're going to go through all that. You don't have enough experience. You haven't been there long enough. They're not going to touch you. I'm telling you right from the door. If you're just now trying to make a black screen paint, I'm going to tell you right from the door, they're not going to touch you. Because they're not going to sit there and paint a ceiling that costs God knows how much money with your product unless they know that 100% your stuff has been tested, and especially on site. No, well, it is what it is. I'm not trying to discourage you from anyone from making it, but you're going to have at least a couple of years on your belt of testing. We got 8 years. Digital 4K Crystal Onyx, that's when we started. That's 8 years ago. You're going to have a ton of demonstrations. I was just talking to a customer yesterday about a motorized projection screen outside. We've done motorized projection screens outside more than we can possibly count. We can show them videos of our demonstrations outside. They want to see a paint on application. We can show them painting the screen on. There's no light coat, heavy coat, light roll. No, none of that crap. Who the freak got time to do all that dumb nonsense to begin with? It's true. You're going to talk about light roll, then a heavy roll. Then you just smear and paint around the screen to get it wet. No, my customers don't want to hear that nonsense. I would never make any money. They want to hear how many coats. And I go, one coat. It's one coat application. That's it. Got any demonstrations? Here you go, here you go, here you go, here you go. Matter of fact, I painted the screen at one time while holding the camera in my hand. It was that easy to paint. The detention screen. So a motorized projection screen costs some money. It is an investment. And they want to make sure it's going to work. It's not going to crack or peel. So you're going to show demonstration of you rolling up, rolling down, rolling up, rolling down, rolling up. We've done this dozens and dozens of times. If you're dealing with somebody who got deep pockets at the end of the day and they can afford $3,000, $5,000 for a screen, you got to figure out how you're going to change their mind. What kind of truth do you have about your product that you could change their mind? Well, have you tested this against this screen? Because this is the screen I own at the end of the day. And they'll tell you that. I own this screen right here. How is your paint better than the screen I have right here? Oh, yeah, I did the Darkstar 9 right here. $3,000 projection screen, Darkstar 9. Painted it, our screen paint on a $79 projector. Took it out. Got to be to show that. They're not going to believe that your product works at the end of the day if you say that. You have to physically see that. So that's why I said that when they go back and they do the research, they're not going to find enough demonstrations. And on top of that, as I said before, if you base your products on a lie, you're looking at a ton of chargebacks, and you're looking at a ton of have not described. Any chargebacks that we may receive, we can go to the banks and fight that with no problem, because we back our products up 100%. Not a problem. I'll walk into that institution, do that demonstration right in front of them. Not a problem at all, whatsoever. Whatever they need from us, we can send it right over there. So if you did go to a bank and you did file a false claim, guess what? You're going to have some charges filed against you because, again, that's bank fraud. Can't do that. And when it gets to that point where we're dealing with that nonsense, then we get attorneys involved. We're definitely taking it to court. And it's going to cost you more than the money you paid for the product. I'm going to sue you for $12,000 or $50,000, depending on how it goes, how the lawyers go with it. But either way, it's wasting our time. We have to go through that dumb nonsense. That's why we request a charge on the ship back. You deny the ship back, and then we basically show evidence the product is working, no problem whatsoever. Do all the tests, product show is properly tested before ship out, before it's sold. and you decide to go back and do a chargeback on us, then we go to court. Now, I'm not dealing with PayPal. I'm not dealing with your bank. I want to take it before a judge. And it's going to cost you more money, a lot more money. So that $160, that $200, that $400 is going to cost you $12,000 now. To get me with a chargeback. That means you went in and you filed a false claim against my company, so I had to take you to court. Because you're not doing that to me at the end of the day. And then you lose that court case, what's going to happen is now you're going to have to deal with the bank. Because now you committed fraud against the bank and you have to deal with those charges. It's much easier to just go in and just tell the truth. If you basically are not used to the darker paints that we make, we have lighter paints that we make. We send you that for free. Just did that with 2 customers who abide by the abide by the ship back policy. We send it out to you. You have a batch number already attached to your product showing it works perfectly fine. And for those people at the end of the day who feel that, oh, but he's just no. Scammers a scammer who can't back his products up will have a policy designed that you can't send it back. You can't do anything with it because they can't have it come back because it doesn't work. That's why. They're not going to do a live stream of testing the product. None of that. Matter of fact, the product's not even going to be tested to begin with. So that's one of the problems you're going to run into. They can't take you to court. They can't do anything at all because they can't back their own product. They don't even know they're a product. How are you going to take someone to court and you don't even know your own product? So that's not going to work either. So a company that can stand behind their product and back their product 100%, we can have you ship it back. We can do the test demonstration. It's not a problem. That's a company that can back their stuff. Now, like I said, I could easily go in. Customer came in and made a complaint that the paint cracked. We came in and we painted a piece of cardboard. We wrinkled that thing up so much time it actually almost turned into fabric. Sent the video back to the customer. Customer said, okay, we made a mistake. And then from there, they sent us over a half a container of paint. We could have sent back the same half a container of paint. We didn't. We filled it all the way to the top, sent it back. Sent my brand new one back to him. Other customer came in. He made a statement and said that the screen looked like that. We looked at the demonstrator like, no, that wouldn't be us. And I went over and scanned it with the camera. I was like, this is our stuff. I don't know what that is, what's being displayed there, but this is our stuff in the container. We did the demonstration. It worked perfectly fine. Even painted it up, did a black versus black. Matter of fact, the other customer didn't even require that test demonstration. We did it anyway for fun because we know the stuff works. So we did a black versus black, certified screen, all that stuff right there, color patterns. Did it at 720p, 1000 lumens. You know what I mean? Not no big boy projector. Yeah. You're the guy. We went back and we sent them back a lighter product, which is the platinum, black platinum. Black platinum silver. We sent it back to him. We sent them another one, a gallon, for free. So that is part of that. It's more than exchange policy, because when you do an exchange policy, you can only exchange for exactly what you paid for. That's it. So if it comes out faulty and defective, you can't exchange it for a higher grade, or you're in a lower grade. You only can exchange for exactly what you paid for. That's it. And we actually sent them out something better. So I've been through the policies already from some of these different people at the end of the day, and your exchange policies are freaking horrible. Absolutely horrible. If found defective. One of them has if found defective. Oh yeah, that stuff is definitely defective, because if you basically paint it down and the screen comes up a different color, that shows that the product is defective. Definitely shows that. If you're basically painting the entire screen and you're told that you didn't paint the screen, you just moved the paint around, again, they're going to consider that to be defective, not as described. That's what they're going to do from the door. They're not going to touch it, because they're expecting the screen paint to work just like house paint. I would expect it to work the same way too. But if I painted in 100, I paint big screens in. If I painted in a 250-inch screen and I kept seeing the surface bleed through, and I'm like, what the freak? Like, this is not supposed to happen? But you got real cheap paint. And it's bleeding through like that, I'm going to call in. Say, hey, and there's no number to call in. So who the freak am I calling? I got an email I had to contact somebody with. Email's not enough. You got to have a number you can reach them by. Customers like to talk to somebody. They can't stand machines. One of the things I will never change about my company, I will always make sure that if we grow to a certain point, I'm always going to have people that you can talk directly to, because I hate the freaking machines. I do. Nobody want to sit there and go, press 1, press 2, press 3, press 4. Da, 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 da. I can help you with so-and-so and so. Oh my God, operator, 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 operator. We all been through that nonsense. I hate it. So I like it better when people can talk directly to me. I prefer them talk directly to me, but eventually when my company starts to get a little bigger, because when we're out there, we're looking to expand, you're not going to get a chance to talk directly to me. But it's nice that I can actually talk to my customers and work with their projects, and I can basically communicate with them and see what they're doing and what they're working on, how we can help them out. Since we have experience in building a lot of our stuff, it's, we can actually basically help them out on projects that they're working on. We can actually work together and share ideas and help each other build things. So that's what I like about talking to my customers. But I got no one to reach to. If I got a problem, I got an email. And you might not even answer the email because you might not. Yeah, that is a big concern right there. I don't think you're going to answer the email. If I sit there and send you an email and say it's not me, it's another customer, and say, hey, look, man, I painted this stuff in, and I have a gray wall in my living room, and I took a sample and put it against it, and it matched. Like, can you explain what's going on here? You're not emailing me back. You're not going to email me back at all. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you're probably just going to basically ignore me. So that's going to be a problem. Yeah, it's going to be definitely going to be a problem. Especially if you're telling someone, you email them back and tell them that, hey, look, you didn't paint the screen, you just pushed the paint around. I got to talk to somebody. Give me a number. I got to contact. I got to talk to somebody. What the freak do you mean? I just painted this screen and I'm just pushing paint around. Because they don't want to hear that. They don't. That's why I said that. Really, I don't have to do much. Pretty much their own product self-destructs by itself. It does the damage itself. Yeah. Push the paint around. On top of that, the instructions for the other one, gee whiz. Yeah, no company's going to touch it. It's too much work. It's way too much work. It's going to be a headache. They're going to be hit with a headache because if they're selling it for you and they're going to advertise it, they're going to have to advertise the exact same way he just explained it in the video, and they're going to be like, no, that's too much work. Even I don't want to do that. And they'll literally tell them that I don't want to do it. It's too much work. You're getting the screen wet. Think about it. You're going to pour the paint down. Before we had it where you were supposed to pour a 2-inch to 3-inch, that's impossible because paint's going to expand. Any liquid's going to expand. So there's no way you're going to get approximately 2 to 3 inches. That's not going to happen. Even he couldn't do it in the demonstration. That's going to be a headache. And then you're telling me I'm going to push this paint all around my surface just to get it wet, just to move the paint around. To me, that's painting. That's still painting. So that's a headache right there. And then I'm going to do a light roll, a heavy roll, and then a light roll. That's a headache. Why can't I just pour the paint and just done? That's it. Like I said, instructions will damage your product so fast it's not even funny. It's just nobody wants to go through the headache of it all. Too much work. Customers want something easy. And then as they're starting to paint the screen in, they get that feeling of confidence that they're on the right path. And that's what you want them to feel. You don't want them to feel like they're making a mistake. You don't have to be a professional painter at the end of the day to realize that you don't want to sit there and paint a screen in multiple times. And another thing I picked up on is the fact that, it's the small ones for you. Another thing I picked up on is that if you're rolling over the exact same surface, when you roll over a screen, the first time you roll over, you're done in that section. Only time you're doing is just smooth it out any excess paint you may have on it. But if you're constantly rolling over that one spot over and over again that many times, that means something's going on. That means it's not taking. Something's not taking too well. That's a headache. There's a lot of work in that. So he's going to have to go in and change all that out all over again. I don't know what the obsession with water is. You guys got to stop putting water in your paint. That is really bad. That water in your paint. That's why we get that bubbly egg shell effect to it. That's what happens. You see my screen right here? See how smooth that looks? See how there's no bubbles, no imperfection, none of that stuff? Yeah. That's what happens. You're putting something in there, some water in there, and that water is making your paint bubble. And then when it bubbles like that and when it dries, it leaves these little hills. And those little hills is what causes that rough edges. That's why, and on top of that, shiny. Definitely don't want paint giving off a shine, because that means you run into a risk of hot spotting. Definitely going to hot spot. The screen's supposed to absorb light. It's not supposed to give off a shine like that. That's why you can't use glossy paints for screen paints, because it'll hot spot. Somebody tried that one already. You already tried to make glossy paints. You don't use oil-based paints because, again, that's a toxic chemical. Once you put that into a paint sprayer, that's going to become airborne. That's going to really mess you up pretty bad. So you definitely want to go with everything that's going to have to be water-based. But a gloss, yeah, someone tried to do it with a gloss already. It was stupid, wasn't it? I told you it was going to be stupid. Gee whiz, I've been here longer than you have. I've tested just about everything you could possibly think of next to gray screens and whatever. If I tell you not to do a gray glossy screen paint, it's not going to work. Literally can show you the video demonstration of the person who basically tried to do it, and it came out horrible. It hot spotted like crazy because, again, it's glossy. So if there's a shine to it, then you're going to have a problem with that. Where's this going at? Oh, this is going over there. That's the problem. Messing. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Yeah, so, yeah. I'm thinking, if I'm doing my volcano, all right, we could do the lava coming down the side of it. We could do that. That'd be pretty cool. Get the background set into the screen. That'd be nice. Well, we need the volcano to glow. So this is where we're going to add LED lights in with our artwork. I can even put a face on the volcano and make it laugh. We have projector mapping technology. Alright, we got these small screws, which I've been looking for. I was looking for some. Is this another? Yep. Yeah, definitely. Getting near the nitty gritty of it all. So I've been getting back up. I'm tired. I've been on this box since it was like yay high. Just trying to get the rest of this stuff finished and done. You know. Now we're getting near the little bits of it all. These are washers, so get those in there. Oh, crap, that's in the wrong box. We'll find that later. These are the washers. Never find. Little nuts and bolts. These are the nuts and bolts I needed for my fans to install my 80mm fans, and I knew I had nuts and bolts around here somewhere. Just didn't know where I had nuts and bolts. And here I found them. So that allowed me to install my fans in. So now I don't even need to go out and buy this because I already got it right here. And just drop these. Let me get these little ones right here. Get these out of here. But yeah, I mean, like I said, but they'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. What do I know? I've only been here forever, so. But they'll figure it out. Because the questions that I ask you are the same questions they're going to ask you. And if you really want to test your stuff out, well, Go pop over to one of those forum sites on Facebook or any other place. Go into one of those rooms and present yourself and see what happens. Now, when I present my stuff, the only thing I get at the end of the day, where do we buy? Because again, demonstrations we show, they can't do those demonstrations. We go through their whole page. No one's doing demonstrations. Matter of fact, I just did the customer's demonstration of showing the screen outside. No one's doing that inside or outside. Majority of those screens have to wait until late light to get the screen to fire up. And we're doing it outside. He's got a marked timestamp on what time of the day he's out there. And the first thing at the bottom is, where are we buying this from? Are you stationed over in my country? Or do you have a distributorship over my country? So we leave all that open. So later on, if I do decide to do it that way, I always have an option where I can go over and I can actually have someone invest in our company and they can set up over in their neck of the woods. They make a killing over there. Right now, no. Not until we get everything established first. But yeah, if you want to test your stuff out, go to Project. Matter of fact, go to Projector AVS forums. Go pop over there. They're more brutal over there. Go over there and talk about your range gain over there and see what happens. Post it. I'll watch the demonstration. I'll definitely come in and watch that one. Because the rest of them I don't bother with. It's a waste of my time. But that one I'll definitely come and watch over there. Go to AVS forum, start up a forum, and talk about your theories on range gain. You can't do that, and I'll look for you. Or send me a link. I'll look for you. Please be an adult about this. Don't be a child, okay? Don't send me dumb stuff at the end of the day. Because again, it doesn't upset me. It doesn't make me angry. It just lets me know how much of a child you are. That's all it does for me. You're a child. That's it. Move on. Got work to do. Let's do this. That's what it is. I'm giving you an opportunity here. So show me a chat. Matter of fact, both of you, show me a chat where you're having a discussion and you can explain and show them what actual range gain is. That from one paint, you're going to get two different gains, and share your gain readings, specifications, that you have this 0.80, these gains that don't exist, show them that they actually do exist, and show proof that this theory actually does exist. And I'll pop over there and I'll check it out. I'll pop right in that forum site. And for the other one, oh, I've been dying to see this one. That Network Grade 773 next to your product, take that video and stick it in there and say, hey, my product is looking different than this product, and see the reaction that you get. They're never going to go in there. You know why? Because they already know the answer already. That's why. That's why the other one never had a video to begin with, starting with range gain, and the other one pulled both of his videos to begin with. You'll never see their videos in there. But we go in there, we pop up and show a video on fusion light energy, FLE. First we put in FLE. It's a new form of gain that's better than ambient light rejection. And then we get the onslaught of which we like because we want to build that up. You know, I like it when they come in and they hate on it. They carry on blah 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 blah. And then we put in some more stuff. It takes in 100,000 lights of direct sunlight. We don't show anything yet. And we want more hate coming on us. Stack it up. Come on, stack it up. Stack it up. And then we show them the demonstration of the screen in direct sunlight, and then everybody shuts down. Thank you for participating in our experiment. Shutting the hater up. That's what we do. Yeah, like I go into when we do the black screens, and we go and we talk to the what's the screens? The the OLED TVs. We ask them, why do you have the Stonehenge effect? You don't know what the Stonehenge effect is. That's where you have your 90-inch TV or 80-inch TV in the middle, and you have these giant speakers wrapped all around you. We call it Stonehenge effect. Well, how come the sound is bigger than your picture? If you just this great big huge 100-inch, 200-inch screen in there, and they're like, how much money an OLED costs at the end of the day? All that money, and your screen still isn't a full 16:9. It's formatted. It's not an actual 16:9. So we go in there and we talk about projection screens, and the first thing that comes out, no, I'm not going to touch a gray screen. I'm not going to touch any of those screens because they don't pull an Infinity 1 contrast. They can't pull 100% black level. My TV can do this. I'm not stuck in the dark 24/7. I'm not spending money for expensive projector and still come up short. Literally, this is what they say. It's the truth. Till you see a black technology in there. I can read your contrast levels. I can be in a fully lit environment. Heck, I can push off a ceiling if I want to. I can go outside. You can't. My screen does 16.9, 235.1, 1610. You can't do any of those whatsoever. And I can mask up at 250 inches. You can't even come near that. There you go. Boom! Yep. You gotta back it up. That's why I say you gotta back it up. The forum sites are good, because you learn a lot of stuff in the forum sites. You're going to deal with criticism in the forum sites. You're going to deal with all that. That's what's good. You're a person that can handle criticism, then that's the place you need to be at, because that'll teach you how to deal much better with your product, and it will push you to do more testing. It will push you to make better products, because you'll be dealing with people at the end of the day that will come in there to shoot you down every single day. And that means it's going to make you work twice as harder to back your products, to prove what your product can do. I remember one time going to a forum site, and the guy mentioned something about a distance throw. I never even heard of a distance throw before at the time. And I said, distance throw? What the freak does he mean by distance throws? I first started off in Great Paints. And he said, my buddy was like, oh, that's how far the projector goes back. So the farther your projector goes back, and it depends on how well the environment is, which is much better, because the distance throw does not work in dark environments. It's just pointless. You're doing it fully lit environments. On how much lumens you're going to lose before you make contact with the screen. So how good is your gain on your screen's capability? So that's what I did. I went and got me a projector, and the room I was in wasn't that big, so I really couldn't do much of a distance on there, but I did the best of my ability, and I was able to get high marks for it. And then later on, since I moved out of the room and got a house, I was able to drop my screen back 18 feet, 16 feet back, 25 feet back. You know what I mean? Then I was able to do those demonstrations outside. So for the other one who lives in the apartment, you got a whole driveway out there. And the fact that you don't have, matter of fact, none demonstrations outside of your product clearly shows your stuff won't work outside. So you can't put that on there. Well, we read in the specification sheet, they can't put that on there anyway, because you can't really give off a time of day when the screen is going to react, or how many lumens. Because what you're going to go through when you're doing an outside setup, you have to give off the time. So that means you have to sit out there for hours to see what time your screen activates. So you'll have to do this at a 1,000 lumen projector, which actually works much better because it's a lower lumen count. You do it at ultra short throw. You do it at pico. What time the screen's going to activate. So say your screen activates at around 6 o'clock. So at 6 o'clock, that means how many lumens would you need to activate on the 6 o'clock mark? 1,000 lumen won't pick up. The 3,000 lumen won't pick up. The 2,000 lumen won't pick up. It'd be like the 4 to 5. All right, and then when you put down, okay, you need a 4 to 5,000 lumen projector to pick up at this hour. Anything after that hour would drop to 1,000 lumens and up. You have to do all those tests, because you have to know the activation time of your screen. Yep. All right, that's for that. That's for that. We got everything here. Let me see. That's all done there. So you have to know this stuff. And the reason why people get discouraged and they leave, because they know that I'm right. That you have to know this stuff. Gonna have to show demonstrations you've done this. So if I'm outside, my customers are outside showing off their product. Same way. I'm gonna take these small ones. I think I did a good job on getting majority of my screws out of here. Cause man, I had a lot of screws in here. I got all most of them out. Some of the stuff I don't need, like the nails and stuff we don't need, but the bolts we do need, because I use these. Definitely need those. So the bolts I'm kind of hunting for right now. Bolts and washers. These little small screws. come in handy. You need those. Let me get that out the trash. Now, so we have any more washers down here. What's this? That's a washer. Anything else? Yeah, gotta do that. Now breathe ink projectors. You gotta basically breathe in what you're working. Cut corners, you're gonna hurt yourself. Don't do your test correctly, you're gonna hurt yourself. Alright, let me see. Got that right there. And every once in a while I gotta catch myself, because I'll sit there and go, yeah, we'll get his product down here. Then I gotta remember at the end of the day, who the freak wants to waste the time? If you removed an entire state to get me from getting your product, why am I gonna waste my time on it? This is where I gotta catch myself from time to time. Bird, what you doing? No, we're not buying that. We're not gonna waste our time. We don't have nobody's gonna waste their time with that nonsense. It is what it is. Leave it what it is. It doesn't work. Why waste your time and waste an entire day on some stupid nonsense? At the end of the day, you could be doing something else more productive. There you go. That's the common sense that kicks in. Because if you canceled on me 7 times and you removed an entire state, which makes it now 8 times, why would I waste my time? I'm not going to give you any of my money. It's a waste of my time. Besides, for what? You're just going to put it back in my account anyway, so what's the purpose of it all? There's no point. And the other one, I can make your stuff because literally we have a demonstration showing us how to make it. So, yeah, don't need to be bothered with that either. And again, what's the point? Because money's going to go back to my account anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference at all, period. It's just that I find it interesting that whatever you guys make her over there, I'm not going to be bothered with saying, oh, look at my product. Who cares about your stuff? Doesn't have any weight. Now, the certified screens that we have, that stuff got weight attached to it. We go into forum sites and we show the difference between our product and that. Yeah, we get a lot of weight. Matter of fact, we can get weight on white screens. We don't get no weight on those products at all, period. At all, nothing. And if you do pop up in any of the sites or anyone brings you up, we just show the cancel orders. Yeah, we dealt with them. This is what we've received, a bunch of cancel orders. Got cursed out in a few emails. Yep. That's what we do. It is what it is. If you can't back it up, you can't back it up. Let me see. We got anything else here? I can use that for something. Last of the nitty gritty. Oh, I can definitely use that for something. Let me see. Okay, springs, we're definitely going to use these. I can definitely use this for something. I'm going to put these over here with those. Get these twist ties. These twist ties, let's get some of these. I have to pay for these. Man, I can't believe I got through this box, man. I first opened this thing up today, I was like, oh my goodness. I'm not looking forward to this. Finally got everything sorted out. No more giant clutter box to sort through. Right there. Any more? There's another. Well, I forgot we can project underwater. I'm gonna have to experiment with that. That would be pretty cool. Okay, I know how to get the reservoir systems. That's not hard to get. And a tubing and a pumping system was definitely, we're going to definitely need. Is that is that workable? Would that really actually work? That'd be a really cool design. Just had an ink pen. Just had an ink pen a few minutes ago. What do you think it pens at? It should be in the art box. Is that right? That would be 8 ounces, right? Okay, tools. Let's paint. Over there. This would be over there. Let me put that over there. That would be for paint. I could run it off a micro small PC could run off of that with no problem. Oh, that'd be so sick.
You mean prepaid the new contract? Mobile keeps it flexible. Go for the unlimited plan for just $25 a month.
You can use that monitor right there. Got a nice platform. A nice platform use of it. Radiation rod. Radiation rod. Some small top. Well, to keep the work on some here. It's a bit of pumping system here. Here. And out here. Okay. Sick. Right there. has a micro, it's a micro ATX. Maybe submerge the entire PC underneath. We have a video of that PC2, the micro ATX, the small ones. These are gonna fit in the case, that's the problem. You have to fit here. You're gonna have to need extenders for the hard drive. You're gonna extend it for the hard drive. Yeah, you need extender for the hard drive, extender for the hard drive, and then you would have to need extender for the keyboard and mouse. I'd rather for the keyboard and mouse be wireless, but it's only stuck in this, so it's not gonna be wireless. Cables ran under submerged water? They had to run under submerged water. So I wonder if that's possible. If you do submerge, can you submerge the network cables? And the network cables run if they're submerged in mesh oil, which I don't think we did one of that. But that it should work that way. If not, we have to get an extender for it. So I have to get an extender for HDMI. Usually it sits right at the top of that edge, right, and it will come right to here, so it doesn't really actually touch it. I've actually never submerged one inside. I need to test that. Get that board. I need to submerge that in vegetable. I need to know how much of that stuff would actually function. I know that would definitely work, but I don't put that part right there altogether. All right, one project at a time. We'll get to that later. Put you there. Call you later. Let me see. That would definitely work. Pretty cool though. This is going into that piece. got it all the way down to this. Ah, man, motherboard screws, the peg, the post. Didn't find any one out of all this. Just one? Wow. Gee whiz, that sucks. Just one. I found one. Just one. That's all I found. Oh, yeah, definitely need these. Need it for that. Oh, that's a buffer for my tool. Need that. Got one motherboard screw. You've got to be kidding me. One more motherboard screw. One. then these. I'm taking these. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Let me get these. Here. Yeah. Take you. Yeah. Definitely you. Definitely taking it. I'll put these put them there. Snap them off. Good. Oh shoot, I definitely use those. Definitely those. I went through the entire box. Oh man. Wire bag. It's all finished and done. Trash. It kills me how people cut their cards up and they leave that exposed. That's all it's needed to get access to your account. That's it. Just that little piece right there. It's your chip. All right, cut your card in half. Make sure they hit that chip. Yep. People just cut their cards in half and figure, nope, nope. That's the reader right there. Now, if it's an old cards from back in the day and you cut that sucker in half, then you're not using that card anymore. But that's a chip reader right there. All right, let me see. We got all that done. This is all taken care of. Here. Not using anymore. Man, I'm glad to have that done. That was a lot of freaking work. Put these over here. These are my tools. My tools are here. Extra projectors are here. Put my bit back on there. Right, this is trash. If you don't need that. And this right here. Once I get another battery for this particular drill, which it's gonna be no good. Oh, definitely need this. This is brackets. There's a little string for strings. Alright, where's his bag stuff I'm going to do? Okay, let me see. Scissors, 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 scissors. Just had them. What's the point of sorting it out if I can't find the freaking scissors? Mother George? Yeah, whatever. I put it somewhere. It's supposed to be in this box right here. I'm pretty sure I put it in here. Last call for anything here worth anything. Nope. Everything else is pretty much done. That over. Got another mess on our hands. All right, let me see. Where did I just put the knife at? There we go. With me. That's the part that was painted. Oh, we don't need it. Really? Ta! Oh, that works. Nice. That's it. All that big old box over there. Pretty much. Took up all that room. That's the computer took apart. Cool. Power surgeons. We can work glasses. Miscellaneous. This is stuff for building stuff with. Wait. No. Yeah, clamps go in there. This is miscellaneous. This is stuff for just building, just anything we want with that, parts and stuff that we may need. HDMI cables, some VGAs. Wow. It's an adapter for my wireless connection. I'm gonna have to fix that. This is right here, short HDMI cable. As a matter of fact, I can use that. I can go in the other bag because that's stuff I need to get to right away. That's just extra wire over there. Cell phone. This is an old unit too. I don't think this thing even works anymore. You take that apart and use it for something. More tools. These are clamps. And this is a cable I definitely could use, so I need to use any other portable bag. More clamps. Miscellaneous. Clamps, and extra stuff I need for other things. Right there in my bag. This is for paint. Actually, that's for arts and crafts. This is for the paint and all that stuff. Clamps. No idea what this is, but we'll put it there. That's for something. So we'll look it up. No controls. Oh, wait. Let's see. No controls. Staples. Staples. And this is for over there. Staples. Tools. Over there. Nuts and bolts. Ah, no. Nuts and bolts. Get over here. Nuts and bolts. More staples. Change. Tools. Tools. Let's see. It goes over there. Staples. Let's see. It's one over there. Going over here. This is using for buffering, for shining stuff up. That should never be in there. You are supposed to be in there. Came right in. It's right there. Oh, that can come in handy. Where are you at? You right Alright, that cleans up that mess. And more staples. Batteries. This is going into what you call them. Take care of that. So I decided I'm going to build me organizer out of cardboard. And for those of you thinking, that's not possible, it is possible. Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. That's why I'm sorting all my stuff out. Go. Tools. Let me see. This goes here. And this is a battery which we're not using. And a light saver which I'm not using. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to build ourselves a nice organizing system right out of cardboard. Oh, mother. And in my giant box of craziness, I found $200 worth of change. Which I was taking all my quarters and stuff and I was throwing them in the box. I have no idea why. I gotta find me a coin slot machine. Oh, there's a coin slot machine around here anywhere. Oh, that's my heat gun. I need this. Sorry if the sand's shaking a little bit. I just found my heat gun. Alright, I gotta get that untangled. What else do we have in here? Finally, freedom. That's all the boxes I have. Gee whiz, that's a big box for all this stuff. What a waste of room. Happy to get all this stuff sorted out already. I'm done. God is good. Thank you, Jesus. That doesn't work. One of the things I can't stand is clutter. I hate it so much. Even in my workshop, I gotta be to see corners. I don't see corners, man, I start losing it. I'm dead serious. I don't see corners, I start freaking losing it. Because that freaks me out because I'm thinking like there's all kinds of stuff accumulating behind the back of those corners. Yeah. I'm not one of those people that when I clean my place, I lift furniture, move stuff out of the way. Yeah, bookcases, I don't care what it is. I can't stand knowing that anything could be festering in a corner somewhere. Anything, like spiders or anything crazy. So that's one of my ticks at the end of the day. Well, I guess it's a good tick if you can call it that. You know, I mean, it's a good tick. But yeah, everything got to be clean, man. Everything. I'll sit there and I'll break my back, man. I'll organize all my screws and everything has to be just so I know where everything is at. One thing I know is when I walk into a house, I know where everything is at. I know every inch of that house. I used to ask my ex to go get something. She didn't even know the house. You're supposed to know every inch of your property. Any place you lay, you know every inch of it. I know it better than the landlord. They were trying to find where the chimney, when you dump the ashes from the chimney, goes to a certain compartment in the basement. They couldn't find it. I knew where it was at. I had to clean it. So you should know every inch of your spot. I just can't. It's just one of my pet peeves. I can't stand where stuff is cluttered. It'll drive me nuts. So what we're doing is, I was looking at these boxes we built for screens. These things are pretty sturdy. Especially once you coat them with the paint. They come like bricks, just like bricks. They're stiff. I'm thinking like, man, I'm going to build myself a nice little organizing bookcase set up with these. And that's what we're putting together. So that's why I had to take everything down, break it up, put it in these small boxes, and then go from there. We're going to make a whole slide out system, the whole thing, where the boxes each slide out, all out of cardboard. And for some people sitting there saying, well, it's not possible. You didn't grow up. Did you go to school? I went to school. In kindergarten, I remember this cardboard box. It was a Oh man, that thing was such a mystery box. I was always wondering what was in that thing. But anyway, it was this cardboard like dresser drawer, and they had all these little cool stuff in there, teachers would have. And I was always wondering as a kid, where did they get this cool stuff from? Well, actually, one of my family members is a certified teacher. I got a chance to walk into one of these shops and see where they get all their cool stuff from. Man, it was like a blast from the past. Man, it was unbelievable. And I actually saw one of those little cabinet units where they pull those little interesting items out of, and y'all was looking all through that bad boy. I was like, wow, that's what really was inside of this. Yeah, mystery solved. But she would go there to get her supplies, and they get them wholesale net to show their teacher certification, or they had to show ID, whatever it was. They had to show in order to get the discount. And I went in there with it. I was like, oh my goodness, like this is all the stuff I remember in kindergarten. It's crazy. But not all the stuff, because when I was going to kindergarten, stuff was kind of vintage. It's vintage now. But it was pretty cool to see all that stuff. But yeah, they had a whole thing made out of cardboard. It was an entire cabinet that they all put together with little tiny drawers, and all made out of cardboard. Of course, I didn't find that fascinating because, again, I wasn't into cardboard. But now when I think about it, yeah, it's fascinating. Cardboard is recycled material. That's what I like about it. It's all recycled material. I actually watched a recycling video on cardboard and on materials, how they make cardboard. It's real fascinating. All that stuff is just made out of all different forms of processed trash. That's why I like it now that they have it where people cut down trees. You got to plant a tree for every one you cut down, and they basically penalize the daylight saving, which they should. Because the amount of pollution we basically make at the end of the day, if it wasn't for the trees, we'd be dead by now. Or on the ground somewhere. Or dealing with the video like the movie called, what was it called? The one where they were on Mars, they had to pay for air. Can you imagine that, paying for air? Yeah, I can't think of it, the name of it. It'll pop when this comes up. I thought it was crazy. Paying for air. Never get to that point in life. It's a scary thought. Price of air has gone up. Can you imagine your kids already having that conversation about the price of air going up? Back in my day, air was free. That's impossible. It's unheard of. That can't be true. It's like hearing people talk about how much food cost them back then. How much gas cost them back then? 25 cents for gas. And they're driving 57 Chevys, gas machines. Machines that consuming their gas. It's weird. If the economy had stayed the way it did in the 50s, everyone would be rich today. But you don't understand that. I gotta understand. I gotta start doing some research on it. More research on economics. Because I'm just curious. I mean, we have 10 times more resources we have today than we had 50, 60, 70 years ago. I would think something like plexiglass back then would be extremely expensive compared to plexiglass now. Yet we pay more money for it. Somewhere along the line, something went wrong. If you look at the time period between the 50s, 60s, 70s, between the 80s and 90s, everything blew the freak up, went through the roof on how much stuff cost between there and then. It was a time period where everything just, inflation went through the roof and everything just went haywire. So you really can't, people sit there and they would blame people for presidents for inflation. No, you got to go back. You got to go back between when you had the 60s and the 70s. Things were still reasonable, very affordable. But then when you think about it, the paid wages weren't that high either, because the paid wages were meant to meet the requirement of what things cost at that particular time. Which is interesting when you think about it. If things were still the same price as if they were in the 50s or 40s, and we got paid what we got paid now, yeah, everybody would be rich. Literally, everybody would be rich. How much money a house cost in the 1940s? 1930s? Are you kidding me? Sheesh. You can buy a house for what you pay for rent now. College was cheap. I think college was like only $700. I don't look at that real quick. Well, I just found it fascinating. Car was around $1,500. It was an expensive for a car. So if you went in and said, okay, the price of living in the 1930s.
According to Association for Entrepreneurship USA, during the Great Depression, the cost of living was an average of $4,000 per year. Today, that amount would be equivalent to $60,575. Yet, the average salary was $1,125 per year.
$1,000 per year? Do you have any idea? $1,000? Are you kidding me? A year? Not that fast in a couple of days. That's crazy. Yeah, everybody would be rich. Everybody literally would be rich. Because the average salary for a family was $1,000 a year. You could be at Mickey D's, you'd be a rich man. You could be minimum wage, you'd still be a rich man. It didn't make a difference. $5, if you made it $5 an hour, you'd still be rich. How much was a house in the 1950s?
According to Fox Business, 1950. In the span of 10 years, from 1940 to 1950, the average cost of a home jumped to $7,354. According to census data, that equals $93,602.08 today as adjusted for inflation, Fred reports. Housing prices in 2024 have increased 12.73 times since 1950.
Yeah, that's actually true. So a house back in the 1950s, and we're talking about a well-built house, not a plastic-built house. Not a house where basically they're putting up, they don't even put up sheetrock anymore. What do you do to sheetrock and wood and insulation? I call them cardboard houses. That's pretty much it. Where houses back then were built much more structured. And you're talking about an easy 5-bedroom house, because houses at the time were between 5, 6, 7, 8, because they had big families back then. So it's a much bigger house. I call a house today would be almost close to about $500,000. So that house would cost you $7,354 to own. Which technically, get into that, you don't own your house. I got into a long conversation with a few people about that, and they were like, oh no, well we do own our house. No, technically you don't own your house. You don't own it. You don't own your house. You will never own your house, ever. So I know people say it's American dream to own your house. You don't own your house, because you don't own the land that sits under your house. That's why you continue to pay taxes on the land. You own a car, you own a shirt, you own your game system, you own your TV, you own all that because you don't pay any more taxes. The only taxes you pay on that is the first initial taxes that you pay when you first buy the item. But after that, you don't pay no annual taxes on your TV every single year or on your car. You don't pay any of that. You own that. That's yours forever. Well, not forever. You can't take it with you, but you know what I'm talking about. But your house, literally, you don't own your house. So if you stop paying taxes on your house, they take your house. I don't care if you own it. If you paid it out front, you paid for it in full, you could say it's my house, I own it. Technically, no, you don't own it. The land underneath of it, it's not yours. And since the land underneath of it's not yours, the house that it's sitting on is not yours either, because you have to pay taxes on that property. And if the taxes go through the roof and you can't afford it, then they can take your house from you. They'll foreclose on your property and take it from you. So technically, you don't own your house at all. So, you know, it's funny because, it didn't really dawn on me to that. It's the reason why I never purchased a home is because the fact that people say, well, mortgaging a house is much cheaper. Not anymore, it isn't. Literally, people pay almost as much to mortgage a home than what it would cost to rent out a house now. Right now, the place I was actually renting out was around $1,600. When I first came, it was $1,600. Off the place in Happentown was $1,600 a month. The rent there for the whole house, and that was extremely cheap. Consider the fact the size of that house. I should have easily been spending $3,000 to rent that place out, but it was only $1,600. I was paying for the mortgage on that house. That was the mortgage cost for that house. Now, when I look back and see what the mortgage really to cost for that house, it was much, much cheaper. Much cheaper. Now, yeah, it was like $1,600. From when I left out of there, I was paying anywhere between $1,800 because my rent went up by $200. So I was paying $1,800 because they went up too also on their end. They had to pay more. Yeah, so to keep the payment, they didn't buy the house. They didn't own the house. They basically were renting out the house. And I asked them at the end of the day, how come you don't sell it? And they said, if we sell it, the taxes would kill us. Which means they really wouldn't make anything. And on the housing market today, it's really hard to sell property. It's extremely hard to sell property on the market today. So people are now just finding it easier just either to cut them up and turn them into rooms, cut them up and turn them into apartments, or just basically just rent the entire house out because you just come out on top a little better than that. If you sell that bad boy, and the way the housing market is right now, you're really not going to get any money for it. But technically, to sit there and say that you own the property, you don't actually technically own it. You own it because you can keep anybody's house from basically taking it from you, means you own it. But technically, do you fully own it? No, you fully don't own it because, like I said, you don't own the land underneath of it. Now, if you look at some of these foreign countries, that the land is theirs. They buy the land, it's theirs. They don't pay any more taxes on it. It's their land. This is land that can be passed down through generations. Because again, it's their property, it's their land. It passes down through bloodline, or someone marries into the family, they get some of that land. That's what happens. But no one can ever take it from them. They can build whatever they want, it belongs to them. And some countries are not like that. Some countries you will pay the taxes for what's on the land. Yep. So technically you don't own it. Like I said, the housing market is the biggest scam on the face of the planet. A lot of people talk about it. It's the biggest scam on the planet. There's a cardboard inspector over there. Cardboard inspector. Are you inspecting the cardboard? Make sure it's 100% cardboard. I don't even know. Yeah, you don't own it. And then I had some people saying, well, geez, you paid $1,600 a month when you was renting that house out. A couple houses were spending some good money in. You're better off just buying a house or mortgaging it, and then it's yours. And I said, no, it's not yours. It'll never be yours, ever. You could take there and fix the house up, put everything into it, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And you fall behind your taxes, they'll take your property and think nothing of it. You don't own jack. Now, anything in it, you don't own nothing. So, no, you don't own it. It's kind of like you're borrowing it. You're borrowing the land that it sits on. That's what you're doing. So even if you go and you buy land, you technically don't own the land either, because you pay taxes on land too. That's why it's better if you just a land lease. Much easier, much more affordable. And you're just better off just renting, to tell you the truth, than buying. Now, if that downs some people at the end of the day, hey, it's the truth. Look it up. You don't own your house. Tons of people talk about that. If you find some neutral place like Slab City where there's no taxes involved, then you own your house out there, because out there's no taxes in Slab City. It's supposed to be the one place on the planet that basically that the government doesn't have any control over. So that you do own. Anything out there, any land you stake out there is yours. But other than that, you don't own the house. Maybe had this conversation with a bunch of people in the room. So I'm like, oh no, I paid for my house. I own it. Do you? All right, do me a favor. Stop paying taxes on your property and see what happens. See if they can't come and take it from you. See what happens. Sheriff's Department to be over there, take your property right from you. Doesn't make them. You show them the deed from sun up to sundown. Nope, you don't own it. So what did I just pay for? I paid for this property and all this money for this house. Fix it up, do this, that, and the other, and it's not mine. Say if the kids don't want it, they don't want the house. What happens to it then? No one takes it. It just sits there. You pass off the earth. What happens to the house? They take it. That's what happens. It literally happened in my family. We had a separation in the family, and they both had houses either way. They made money, so she bought her own, he bought his own house, and they left the house sitting there. It was paid for, already paid for. Nothing. All they do is just pay the taxes on the house. Just left it there. And guess what happened? None of the family members wanted it. I didn't want it because I definitely want to live out there. I'm good where I'm at. So it just stayed there. And guess what happened? City came and took it. And it goes on top of the auction block or whatever else they're going to do with it. So that's what happens to it. So, you know, better off, you know, in the long run, just renting it. Or if you've got some building skills, lease some land, do some land leasing, and build yourself a house out there. Wires. These are the wires I don't use for work. Extra stuff I got laying around that I don't use. This is supposed to be, let's see. This is a bracket. This is supposed to be over there with that. And let me see. You got all the wires for this? Everything up? So sorry if it dampened your bubble. Popped your bubble at the end of the day, but that's what it comes down to. You don't own your property. Go out there and cut the land that don't belong to you, because it don't belong to you at all, period. And it's jacked up about it too, because you know, if you let your grass grow too high, city will fine you for that crap at the end of the day. Put your trash out too early, city will fine you for that crap at the end of the day. Oh, wait till you hear about the whole zoning part of it all. That's another part of it that's interesting. I actually studied and researched all that stuff because I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated by the laws of the land and basically how much do you actually really own. It's quite fascinating. So, zoning. Zoning is very interesting. If you're doing any kind of work, I mean any kind of work inside your environment, and I care anything, and you put up a piece of wood on the wall or whatever, at the end of the day, it has to be passed through zoning. Everything, any kind of structure, design, anything you do to an apartment has to go through zoning. So what most people do, if they're doing it through zoning, zoning may say yes or no. You have a better chance of basically doing stuff inside the house than outside. Outside is going to be a whole nother ball game for you to play around with. You want to put an outdoor pool, in-ground pool, guess what happens? Your insurance goes up because that's a liability right there. If some kid falling into your pool, even though it's not your fault, you're still liable for it. So your insurance is definitely going to go up for that. But if you decide to get a pool put in, it's whether or not the township or the city allows you to be able to do this. If you get the permission. Some people do and some people don't. Say you want to put a deck out there, you got to go through that paperwork too. Yeah, and keep in mind, for most people, you don't understand that how deep the zoning go when it comes to a house that you own is the fact that they can even tell you that you have to get paperwork if you want to put in a new kitchen cabinet, countertops, plumbing, electric, you name it, you even drywall, everything. You have to go in, you have to fill out a little piece of paperwork, let them know exactly what you're doing, this, that, and you're doing. They have to approve of it, of you doing this, and something that you freaking own. Yeah, there you go. That's the jacket part about it. And you'll pay for this. You'll pay like a little fee to them, maybe $200, maybe $300, depending on what it may be, to be able to work on something in your own freaking house. Isn't that jacked up? But what most people do is they get someone who actually is in that field already. Say someone's not certified, or maybe they are certified, or say maybe they're in that field, and maybe they do stuff under the table. They get those people to come and do the work. Now, if you were to go in and get a professional, get it done a professional, most likely is going to ask for your zoning permit of you being able to do this, and they will work on it in fear of losing their license. But if you have like Jeff, Bob, or Frank that live down the street and they used to do carpentry work, yeah, one of them will come in and do the work, but no problem. Same thing, they just don't have a certification. And again, no one knows anything about it. And that's what usually most people do, because they don't want to go through the process and all the paperwork of going through that nightmare to finally go through all that and finally get denied. Or maybe they might say, you need to get this fixed, or one thing they might add to another, and that may have to be fixed. And this would end up costing you more money than you were not planning for it to cost you at the end of the day. So I do know if you're going to do a Viking oven, that's a commercialized oven setup, or a commercialized stove, you're definitely going to have an inspector come in. They're going to have their own team of inspectors come in. They're going to look at your foundation and see if you're even equipped to even have that thing in there. The last thing you want is for your house to burn down because you don't have a fire brick wall on the other side, or basically that thing coming through your floor, because they're extremely heavy. So a lot of stuff you got to go through, even in your own place. You want to put an infinity bathtub, you want to put in these massive, huge walk-in showers, all that stuff is going to be required for zoning. So you own the property, but you have to get permission to build on it. There's the other jacked up part about it. Your sidewalk. Oh, this is the funniest one of all. The gray area of all gray areas. Someone slips and falls on your sidewalk, it's your fault. You get sued. But if a police officer is standing outside on your property, on your sidewalk, and you ask them to remove, like, hey, buddy, I want you to get off my sidewalk, he'll tell you he doesn't have to because it's city property. So it's city property when they're on it, and it's your property if someone falls on it. Yeah, it ain't fair, is it? But that's life. That's the way it is. So what most people do is they leave out of this whole grid nonsense, and they go live off the grid, where they have more freedom. Because then out there, you can build whatever freak you want, because there is no zoning out there. You can build whatever freak. As long as you're far and away from the township, then you're good. You build whatever freak you want out there. They can't say jack about it at all, period, because you're on your own land at the end of the day. And if someone basically pops up on your land, you have a right to basically defend yourself, or basically tell that person to remove themselves off your property because they're on your freaking property. A lot more freedom with that at the end of the day. Where's this going at? So that's why people buy land. Well, in the middle of nowhere. Now, if you know anything about water harvesting, water filtration systems, solar powered, or hydroelectric energy in any one of those fields, you can work and live out there with no problem whatsoever. If you don't, I would say crack some books. Let me see. Because, yeah, that's what a lot of people are doing. They're doing the homestead. They're tired of living on the grid. Was this tools? That's tools. And this shouldn't be in here. This should be in there. Get that mixed up. Yeah, because a lot of people are tired of the grid. You look at New York City, and then on top of that, with that, rent's going through the roof. Now, if you got an old head landlord who's never raised the rent, then you're lucky. That's what I have. I have two of those. But if you have someone, gee whiz, is willing to raise the rent, pretty much to try to get, if he's living near an area that's under development, you run the risk of basically getting pushed out due to the fact that they could basically, if they're paying a tremendous lot of taxes on top of that. The city's pretty much going under. There's a couple of cities going under. Stores and companies are moving out of the state as fast as possible because they have a whole lot of problems down there. But anyway, they could raise the rent enough to try to get you out because they might get an offer for someone to buy the unit, tear it down, and put something like a high rise in there. It's going to cost a ton of money just to be in there. New York City's going through that right now. So what New York City's going through could very well happen in your neck of the woods extremely easy. As a matter of fact, we got it popping in Allentown. I'm going to walk to Allentown. I'm going to show you the big buildings in Allentown. These are the places that started popping up all over the place. There are these new apartment complexes that they're designing. And if they're not family friendly from the door. No families at all, period, in these places. They want single people or couples. Preferably they want younger people in these environments. And the way they're set up, they got a gym, and they got a freaking rock climbing wall and all that stuff like that. It's just basic setup for them, pretty much. They don't want families in there at all, period. But these places are starting off at somewhere between I think cheapest apartment 1,600 to about $4,000. And these places are built so cheaply. It's a shame how they build properties today. It's so cheap how they put them together. But anyway, yeah. That's what it's coming down to. High inexpensive high-rise apartments. What's this going to? And just rent going through the roof. A lot of people are just choosing to live off the grid. Now, once my company gets settled in, I get my ad tech and my technology where I need to be at, and I'm making that serious money. Do you think for a minute that I'm basically going to get a house? Oh, heck no. For something that I don't own at the end of the day? No, I'm good. I'm going to get me some land out in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to build my place out there. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm doing. No way in the world, Jose. No way, Jose. All right, we got all that down to that. That is freaking good. That giant box, all that down to that. That's a huge stuff. And I can see my corners. I can see clearly now that the junk is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Yes. Yes. Love it. Little corners. Woo. Man, I can't do them corners. This is what I'm talking about. Finally. Okay, so that's the wire bag right there. All the wires and cables that we're not using. Certified things are in here. We got here. All right, wire bag. Box. That's there. All right, let me see. And then we have everything taken care of. Everything done. My bag, my box. Over here. My tools. That's all good there. Alright, let me see. Screens there in that box. Where is this going to? That's a tool. That should be. Staples. Staples in here. Not these in here. I'm so happy to have this stuff finally organized. I get this stuff organized for the longest time. Putting it off. Putting it off. Now it is done. These are for my rollers too. Definitely gonna need a box for my rollers. That's good. Oh, what's wrong with you? What are you? Oh. Rags. Rags. Got me a nice little shelf system. This is what I heard fall over. Something else. Gee whiz, it's awesome. I love stuff like this. See, you naysayers, at the end of the day, this is the reason why you're always going to be stuck in a box. Because you can't think outside the box. Do you know somebody made a cardboard bed? You know how much money they're making off a cardboard bed? $150. Shipping on this thing is $37. And people are buying these. You know why? Because it's different, it's easy, it's fun, and then on top of that, it's great for the environment. Cardboard bed, $149. That's the reason why y'all don't make any money, and the reason why you're stuck where you're at is because you can't think outside the box, or you're afraid to. That is freaking, it's amazing. I'm buying one. I'm curious how that thing works. Oh, I saw how it works. And I told you, they make this, and that's why I said when I made the screen out of styrofoam, and for the other fellow said, I wouldn't make a screen out of styrofoam. Oh no, your brain doesn't function that far out. You couldn't think of that, because again, there's several different types of styrofoam. Styrofoam you're thinking about is the styrofoam that they put inside of boxes and packages. You don't use that kind of styrofoam, because that styrofoam has all these English muffin, nooks and grannies. They're freaking virtually impossible to coat over. You're going to still see little white specks pushed through. What you go for is something called insulating styrofoam, which is smooth. Doesn't have the nooks and grannies, and they use that for insulating for garages and walls and stuff like that. And that stuff is 4x8, so it's seafoam green, and they make it in purple. That's the styrofoam you would be using. This is what I mean by small-minded people who can't think outside the box. Keep in mind, you may rant about my cardboard projection screens, but my screens, at the end of the day, that cardboard box right there, well, we already opened the door. You canceled out on the cardboard screen. Because anything we paint with too, actually canceled out on any technology we have, but yeah, the fact that if you canceled out on our product and we can take on certifies and whatever we want at the end of the day, that cardboard screen is more advanced than your product. Look at that. That's freaking crazy. It's an eggshell system. A honeycomb system. That is freaking cool. I like stuff like this. This is the kind of stuff I like. I'm going to test one of these out. Look at this. Beautiful for the environment. That's what I'm talking about. Doing something different. We did the research on a good product. That's what I love. I love people who basically take the time to do something different. Do something outside the box. You know how easy that is? Man, I spent almost $3,000. Bed, mattress, the whole 9 yards. A mattress can cost you $3,000 alone. It's a mattress inside of a box. That's very rare. That's a genius idea. Wow. Kudos to you. That is kudos to you. I like that. Cardboard wall. Man. That is really cool. I like that. Now we got a cardboard screen coming out. I'm going to be designing one, but it's not going to be made out of this. Screen made out of that solid one-piece cardboard. I told you about that cardboard they make that you could build furniture with. Yeah, we're going to be doing some crazy stuff with that. LED lights, built-in speakers, the whole 9 yards. Entire interface we made out of cardboard. Man. Cardboard cat bed? What? Oh, we're going to do other stuff our cardboard bookcases too. YouTube. Some people won't do it because, you know, they're trapped because they're worried about what other people think. If you go through life, man, I feel sorry for you. If you go through life worrying about what other people think, you are a prisoner within your own self at the end of the day. Go through life worrying about what other people think. People will sit there and pay for stuff, cost them an arm and a leg, and worry about what other people think. You're not living for yourself, you're living for somebody else. So that's what you're doing, you're living for somebody else. Worrying about what somebody else thinks. You're not free. You can sit there and say, I am free. No, you're not. You're trapped within your own mind. You're not free. Person can sit up there and do a cartwheel in the middle of the street. Do something different and spontaneous. Those people that are free. People that worry about what other people are going to think and what other people are going to say about you, you're a prisoner. You are forever trapped. You're not forever trapped. You can get out of that situation. You gotta start living for yourself. Some people may say that, hey, he builds cardboard screens because he can't afford them. I've had more fixed frame screens and motorized projection screens, and yeah, just about every size you name. So, no, got tired of spending money for them. It's like people go out, spend the money for a TV. I don't have to spend the money for TV. I don't have to worry about spending money for a 30-inch, 60-inch, 90-inch. None of that at all, period. Because I designed the own chemical that basically allows us to be able to turn that cardboard box into a projection screen. So I don't have to worry about being stuck in dark environments like the other people have projectors, or to worry about washed out faded images, or none of that, because I have control over all that. So that's why, like I said, you want to be less dependent on things at the end of the day. Be able to have more control. Do something different. Don't worry about what other people think. When I sat there and moved into the apartment, I used all trash bags. Oh, he's poor, he's using all trash bags. Again, kids, you're kids at the end of the day. It's easier to move in trash bags. Trash bags are easier to stack than boxes. They take up less room. There's less room in the truck for them to take up. And then on top of that, I got a ton of trash bags left over when I dump out trash, which means I don't have to buy trash bags for a very long time. It's a very easy way to move. But again, you don't think outside the box. I don't expect you to. That's why your products are where they're at now. This is why I'm here right now. After this, I'm going to do a demonstration against a certified screen. Take that out. And then I'll do some demonstrations on the what screen is that? Oh yeah, I got to do that white surface too. Why does the screen didn't have white surface? This didn't pick up that high. I really don't know. That's kind of weird. Well, it's not weird. I just didn't do it. They didn't test their stuff correctly. That's what happened. Gotta test your stuff better. That's what happened with that. Where's my whatchamacallit at? I'm supposed to have oh, it's in there. That's what it's at. Yeah, I'm supposed to have that. Yep. Alright, I'm gonna put this with this. Because this will be better. I'm gonna put this with this. How many people that get bothered? Why when I talk about how things have to be tested or people make screen paints? No customer in the right mind is going to get upset over that. Why would they? You know, that's the one thing you do want. You do want to make sure that the product is tested out properly. You don't want to mess around and get something that doesn't work correctly. Only people that get mad about that are people that come into my room to try to figure out what I'm doing. Because they're always worried about what Mr. Bird's doing at the end of the day, what I'm up to. And I mentioned something about how screens have to be tested. They get upset and they get angry. But if you get upset and that makes you angry, that means your stuff don't work. Because people don't get upset if they know the work. I'm going to school and I'm taking a test. And the kid sits there and raises his hand and says, hey, we got a test today. And we got a substitute teacher. The only people going to be upset are the people who didn't study. But if you study, you got nothing to worry about. Why would it bother you? The only people that get upset. Yeah. Shouldn't bother you. I couldn't care less if your product's not tested or not. That's not going to affect me in any way whatsoever. It's going to affect your customers. That's what it's going to affect. Everyone's going to be upset and angry with you because your stuff didn't malfunction. That's not my problem. Let's put this over here. Oh, I put that right there. Let's see. Okay, that's all done. Everybody, all that taken care of. Man, that's a lot of work. This is done. I don't gotta be bothered with it. Got it all finished. Got it all set. Alright, cool. No, right here. Show you access to that and that. Not gonna die. Tell you one thing. I'm glad to have all this done. Whew, man. See, I need this right here for the. What's the other way around? Really? Chihuahua. It's the other way around. Why do they do it this way? Say, hey. There's no point in that. Alright, so this is like a little fire base to it. Alright, so this will fit here. Yeah, but that will fit there better. Alright, let's see if we can get this one. See if it can fit. Yeah, that fits better. There we go. That's much better. Yeah, that fits much better. This. That's a tool. It's supposed to be in a toolbox. Think outside the box. Think outside the box. Okay. So my wires, cable, heat gun. All my tools are over there. Oh, that feels so great. Who's hitting me up? Oh, Facebook. Yeah, of course I got that. I can put that screen up there. I'm trying to figure out where to get that stuff and get everything from. I'm gonna have to get the rest of the stuff up in here. Get all this done. At least the good thing about it, I can see the corners. There's that one corner over there which drives me nuts. Couldn't see anything over there. Can't stand stuff. Festering in corners. 2 tabs. Oops, I dropped one. But there we go. This way I can use definitely. Kind of reminds me when I had to break down the shop at the other place when I was at the basement shop. I had to break that whole shop down, sweeping all the corners, dust everything down, and then put down the new surface for the floor. Man, that was some work right there, man. Not start my actual work. No more dust, no more clutter, no more messy corners. And once we bring in the bookcase, so my bookcase organizer, and neaten all this up. I'm definitely going to be taking all this stuff out of these boxes right here. This is the next one to go. These are already organized, that's organized. Nice and neat. Hey, hand boy. Oh, it's interesting. People lie about the specifications on their products because they figured that the customer's not going to know. The customer is not going to figure it out. At the end, we're going to take them to be the expert. But it's not the customer you got to worry about. It's everybody else that's been in the field longer than you have. They have quite a bit of experience and know what they're talking about. Those are the ones you got to worry about. Because those are the ones that can basically tear down the credibility of your product's existing. They're going to be the ones that request your testing and the proving back your products up. I'm in the forum site so much they know me by my first name. So if you're not in there, and I definitely don't see you in there, I'm in there quite a lot, then you're not in there with those people that will question to know if your product's nonsense or not. You're just hoping to snag a customer who is pretty much going to be naive And if you want the kind that don't know too much, so you can make them believe in anything that you want them to believe into. But the reason why you don't go on those forum sites because you're in there with people like me at the end of the day. We know stuff. And those are the ones you got to worry about. So those are the ones that are going to buy your stuff, take it down for testing, and discredit your work. Now, see, the reason why we don't get people who try to do that to us, people do fake demonstrations. That's why April's coming up. Well, April is coming up. April's already here. You're being sued in April and May and June for making false accusations against my product. So you're going to have to back that up again, lawsuits. But for other people who don't try to come near our products on that level because they know our stuff is tested, they know that they run the risk of getting sued. Now, if they do it side by side, I don't know what care at the end of the day, they don't. But if they know if they falsify the product in any way whatsoever, they'll get sued. Because they know that we have tons of tests on our products that we can load up in court to show that, hey, this stuff is properly tested, it does this, it does that. We got even shipbacks are excellent for court also too. Show that customers have brought the products back and they still worked. So you run the risk of being sued for a lot of money. So those people right there know at the end of the day that, look, if I'm going to get this product and do a review against this product, then yeah, you better be honest and upfront about it or I'll land you in court. And the other ones, basically, who did go out and make those false reviews, we'll see you in April. And for the other half who feels that we don't know your address, again, I hired a private investigator to track your whereabouts. So you're on YouTube. We know what your face looks like. So that's all they need at the end of the day. They'll find you. And when they do, and they report back to us, give us what we need, we'll start the process of the lawsuits for the rest of them. Because again, I'm going to have you in court. You're going to meet me. Even though you don't want to, you are going to meet me. Now, you don't have to show up. It's up to you. You're still going to take your stuff. Doesn't make a difference. You don't show up, you forfeit. You do show up, you're still going to lose your stuff. Some of you can't show up because you have criminal charges on you. And if you do show up, you could be arrested there on the spot. So, you don't know how you're going to work with it, but you figure it out. Not my problem at the end of the day. All I got to do is just show up in court. That's all I got to do. That's all I got to do is just be there. Other than that, yeah, you lie to people. But you'll end up in court, not only by me, but other people will sue you. It's coming. Because again, you got one time for someone to paint something down and there's no testing of that whatsoever, and they're going to file some complaints against you. And you're going to have to deal with that nonsense. You're going to have to deal with it. You can't back yourself up in court because you don't have any testing. Well, like I said, if I was one of your customers and I bought that product on the range gain nonsense or not matching house paint or any other dumb nonsense you guys come up with, and say I paint this down to a very expensive surface and it damages and wrecks my surface, I will see you in court. So someone's going to pay for something, because I sure enough am not going to go in and pay for that piece of plexiglass or whatever I coated on to. And they're going to ask you in court about your product. How much testing do you have on your product? Are you well aware that once the product would have been applied to this surface, it would have had this reaction? You don't have any testing. So they're just going to go by, well, that's what he told me on the phone. And I believed him because I gave him a chance on his company. And it wrecked my screen or damaged my screen or went through this, that, and the other. Like applying that, the product is front and rear. I know that product's not front and rear. I can tell and look at it. It's not front and rear. It's front. Sorry, it's front. It's not rear. It's nowhere near rear. Nowhere in the world. That stuff is rear. You shouldn't even have that in there at all, period. There's so many requirements for rear projection screen. It's not even funny what's needed in order to have rear projection technology. And in your specifications, you don't even explain. This should be a little section by itself. At least about somewhere between a 150, 250 word paragraph of explaining rear projection technology and what your product does in rear projection technology. And the problem you have there is you don't have anything in there. You just have it as front and rear, and you're seeing it's a roll-on. Everyone who saw that, they laughed, because again, you don't roll on rear projection screens because again, they damage your screen. You'll have all kinds of, and I don't care what kind of roller you use in the day. Oh shoot, man. That's a good hit. On the screw. I don't care what kind of rollers you use it today. You can use smooth rollers, foam rollers, whatever you want. You're still gonna mark your screen up. I know because I tried to make a rear projection screen that was a roll-on application. It doesn't work. Virtually impossible. You'll mark your screen up. So anyone who ever develops a rear projection screen, and what they do is they basically make it a spray-on application. That's what they do. A lot of things wrong with those specifications. And on top of that, even more frightening, your specification sheet is too short. What's the VOC on your product? Is it eco-friendly? These are things that are going to pop up if you try to go through a distributorship. Everything that we do in our demonstrations, you're going to have that. If you're claiming that none of the product is bought over the counter, that means you made it all from scratch. So they're going to ask for your safety material data sheets that they're going to request for, because you made a chemical by scratch. And if that chemical is by scratch and it hasn't been to a flash zone or any form of test facility, especially showing that the chemical could become unbalanced, heat, cold, even the mixture itself, shaking it up could cause the can to implode. That means you're basically shipping an untested product using elements that are not over the counter, have not been tested, because every product over the counter is tested. Now they can't sell it. And it hasn't been approved. That means you can go to jail for this. So when you make that statement, they're going to ask, what do you mean by that statement, that your product is not over the counter? Are you making this from scratch? You said you're making it from scratch. What chemicals are you getting to make this from scratch? No, you're getting your stuff from over the counter. You're not making it from scratch, because the chemical compounds alone, in order to make up just about anything, is extremely expensive. It'd be far more than $60. Far more than $60. So you're making everything from over the counter. You're just mixing it together. That's all. That's what you're doing. You just want to make it sound like it's technical, so that way it seems like it's something more than what it is. You know, by preferring it has a skin-like coating, when basically it's a lot of water in it. That's all. And the reason why we know it's a lot of water in it, because how many times you have to pass over the surface, which means usually when you're dealing with a paint that has a very thin texture to it, like when you buy cheap paint to paint a living room. Let's say your walls in your living room are green and you buy a cheap paint, what's going to happen is that green's going to bleed right through, and you're going to find yourself painting over the same wall over and over and over again just to get rid of that green bleeding through, because it's a very weak and watered down product. That's what it is. Pretty much is a weak paint. Now you spend the money and you get that $50 a gallon, which is probably more now. It's a one coat application. You hit it one time, it's gone. It's not even there. So what you have is a product that basically you put something into it and it weakened the product. And that's why you have to do so many passes over top the screen. Not only that, the screen actually changes colors too. So you have to deal with the streaking and changing of color. So that becomes a problem also. If you notice, if I paint over cardboard boxes one time and we're done. Spray the screen and we're done. That's it. Now, because your paint, if you had common sense, and I'll explain to you why you don't have it. with your product being so thin, you should have never made it a roll-on application. You should have made it a spray-on application only. That way you wouldn't run into the problems of the screen constantly streaking and changing colors. But still, you're going to have the problem with the screen not producing the color that it claims to produce. Mind you, we've seen this same thing action happen in 2 different demonstrations. In that gray, charcoal gray, it came out light gray, and then the black, it came out light gray. So that's the other hurdle you got to get over. And if you do make it a spray-on application only, then you're going to have to involve a free paint sprayer, because again, customers, more professionals will go near it. Maybe some people will spend the money for a paint sprayer. Chances are most people are only going to use it one time and never use it again. And I don't know, just the person who buys it. But still, roll-on basically sells better than spray-on. Now, we make a spray-on application. We know that certain people are going to pick that up. Certain people that we know we sell to and do business with. So we know we're going to make a profit off of it. But if you're making a new product and you really don't have a range of people that will buy that particular product, being a spray-on, then you're going to lose money. So you got to stick to rollers until you can basically build up a high enough, clientele of customers that later on you can come out and bring out a spray-on application, and they may be comfortable with it, but at least you have enough people that basically can vouch for your product that will basically buy it. So, yeah. You haven't done your research properly. So most people won't go near paint sprayer, majority most, because paint sprayers can be intimidating. They definitely feel they're going to mess it up. They definitely feel they're going to mess it up. So that's another reason why. Another reason why, it's something more they got to pay for. It's something else. You got to buy this, but you got to spend $60 for this. So altogether, it's going to cost $120 a minute. Yeah, they're not going to be too happy about that either. At all, period. So, yeah. Now you got yourself in a bit of a pickle. You have to figure that out. You haven't did your research correctly. That's what that comes down to. But if you roll the screen in, it's going to streak. It's definitely going to have that problem. First hurdle is trying to figure out why it's changing colors on you, because it did it in 2 different demonstrations by the same person. And then it did it in your video, which we watched real closely, which is now missing off your channel. So that's a problem for you right there. We're talking about the guy who makes the Series C, his product, Mr. Danny. His product, his Parte mixes are really bad. And like I said, from what we've seen from your history, from your product and your customers' history, they ain't happy campers at the end of the day. They're very unhappy campers because they have a blotchy screen, because for some reason that product doesn't seem to hold the weather all that well. And again, if you want to sit there and say, well, you don't know, oh, we don't know, because every time we try to order your product, you cancel. That's why we don't know. But I know from what I've seen from the videos and from how long I've been in the business, much longer than you have. You're noob considered to me. You don't know much about the business. I know more than you do. I've been here longer. So I tell you, your paint's coming out blotchy. It's blotchy. And we did that video so many times. I got so many copies on that. Even if you did get rid of it, we still got copies on it showing that screen streaking multiple times. So why would you remove that video altogether? If I was right, your screen was streaking. It did change colors multiple times, and it had this kind of English muffin kind of gritty look to it, and then these like skin-like layers across the screen. It was pretty bad. So no, it didn't do well. So back to the drawing board. Tried it again with the Goopity Goo. And said that the water in the product worked as a delivery system to keep the product from evaporating. No, you just put a lot of water in your paint, that's all, to give it the thin like skin texture. That's why you do it. That's why the water's in there. But they'll lie and tell you it's something else. The problem you have here, you got lies already from the door on your products, so they're not going to do too well. Whew. And as for the other one, you match house paint. That's the worst. That's about the worst of the worst. The other one ain't so bad. His B is bad. He doesn't, colors don't show up, screen streaking, got a kind of English muffin texture to it. Paint's coming off shiny. It's a mess. Multiple coats over top the screen. Instructions are too wild and out of the box. There's too much stuff going on with that screen. It's too busy. And then the other one, basically, your stuff match house paint. That's the end of the story. And did it twice. Literally did it. No, matter of fact, did it 3 times. Did it 3 times. So, yeah, that's it. And then the fact that anyone can make the product for free because it's your own video demonstration. As a matter of fact, I'm making a gallon of it next week. You can make as much as I want. It's the same thing. As a matter of fact, it's made the same way as all the other gray screen paints are made. The same way. Gray paint or white paint and scoops of black. That's it. That's all they're all made. All the gray paints are made that way. How else are they gonna make it? Unless you're doing something really dirty and you're just buying everyday gray paint and you're not really adding any different forms of tones to it. So all you're doing is just buying everyday gray paint. That was the whole test behind the Network Gray 773, because I sat there and said, wow, you know, these paints out here looking more and more gray every day. Who's to say that they're just not going over and just grabbing gray paint right out of freaking Home Depot or Lowe's, put it in a container, put their label on it, and just sell it to you. They can put a little Christmas glitter in that and say, hey, this is a different product right here. And you just spent $60 for a quart of paint that you literally could have slid off a shelf. Yep. That's why we did the test. Over here, this is gonna go out. They're so threatened by the theory. They would have done more tests. Done any tests either. The reason why we know your stuff matches, well, majority of the gray paints that they match gray paint. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because when I go look for gray versus gray, we don't find any. Nobody does them. You know why? Because you'll match. That's why nobody does them. That's why we don't see them. If we did, imagine if someone had the ability to beat a gray paint. Those videos would be literally all over the internet. It'd be an onslaught. Someone figured out how to make a gray screen, produce a better contrast. I'm talking about difference between night and day, like that. They figured that out. There'd be videos everywhere. That's like someone trying to figure out how to make take a piece of rock and turn it into a solid piece of gold. Those videos would be everywhere. Couldn't go anywhere without bumping into one of those videos. That's how we know. But if you type in black versus black, guess who pops up? We do. Our videos are everywhere. Because we can do that. That's what I said. The biggest concern that they have to worry about is not the us at the end of the day. You got to worry about the tones. That's what you got to worry about. That's your biggest threat right there. If Home Depot ever decided to start selling screen paint, you're screwed on so many levels. It is not even funny how screwed you are. They even get wind of it. Anybody walks in there and says, hey, you know the same stuff we got over there? They make money off that stuff. They turn it into screen paint. for projection screens. Let them get wind of it. And that's the end of it, right there from the door. And they'll sell for far cheaper. They'll do their research, they'll go online and find out how much you guys are selling it for, and they'll sell for far cheaper. And they'll make a bundle off of it. They'll come up with their own version. It's Home Depot. They'll come up with their own version. They make all those pigments and all that stuff to make their own stuff anyway, to dye the paint. They'll come up with their own form of screen paint. Everybody will flock there. See how much money you make after that. Any one of those companies pick up on that. Just takes one person to go and say, hey, you know you can make money off this stuff at the end of the day? But they can go in there and they can pick up all the black paint they want, and that still won't even match your stuff, because we did the test. We know already from the door. Because we already got prepared for that. Because the minute somebody came to make that statement, I was like, shoot, that's a really good statement. You know, we got to back that up. Yeah. So you're in a lot of trouble. Let them come, Home Depot, Lowe's, any one of them come up with their own form of gray screen paint. You are done. How are you going to compete with that? Next you know, you'll be on the Home Depot and they'll be selling freaking gray screens in there. They'll be selling their own projection screens with their patio furniture. Oh yeah, it's going to pop up. That's opportunity for us because we can crush a gray screen. Because by them coming in there, as a matter of fact, that's not a bad business plan. It really isn't. Get that one started. Because if they start selling, they figure the gray, hook them up with the gray paints, because that stuff will match anything. That's not a bad strategy plan right there. That's an easy way to capitalize on black technology right through Home Depot to get the base started. Oh, gee whiz, that's a fantastic opportunity for us. Because there's nothing there to match our stuff. We've done the test. We got 20 in their category. Please. That was easy. So that means you guys haven't tested any of that stuff really in there. So if Home Depot, hear me out, this is amazing. If Home Depot gets a little wind of it, that they can make a profit off selling a gray screen paint product. They already got patio furniture in there already. They got the grills and all that stuff in there, right? They can start a little package deal where they can have screens, they can coat them gray with that technology, or they don't even have to coat them gray. They'll have you do it at the end of the day. They'll have the screens in there with the paint and a patio set up with grill. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? They'll make a killing off of that. That's competition for you gray screen paint makers. That's opportunity for the black technology, us. Because we can go in there and show them why our product is far more advanced than that gray and beat any of the black paints we have in there because we did the test already, giving us a contract at the end of the day. They'll have to buy from us. That's a fantastic idea. I'm going to use you guys to make money. I'm going to use your products to make money. That is a fantastic idea. This is why I said do your testing. I can make money off your own product without even touching it. I can basically just point them in the right direction on where they need to go to get this information on why they can make those great products and they can make money. Because anybody goes in there and buys a patio set up, next thing they're thinking is projection, screen, grill, all that stuff like that. That's what they're thinking from the door. We got everything in there except for the projection screens. It's not hard for them to contract projectors and all that stuff. That's not hard for them to do. They can make it the ultimate patio setup. Let them run wild in that great paint for a bit, and then we go in there and we crush that stuff with no problem whatsoever. Show them the difference between our technology outside and that stuff. We could do a demonstration right there on their storefront. That'll make us a ton of money. I'm going to use your product to make money. Now you can sit there and say that you can use my product to make money. You can't, because you can't even make my stuff. We gave you permission to make our stuff. We still haven't made it right yet. And anything after the permission line is basically a desperate stab in the dark to try to make the product. No one's going to basically buy it from you, and they're not going to use that stuff in the day. The only people that make that trash at the end of the day, you guys make at the end of the day. I'm talking about your paints. I'm trying to make our black products. People that are desperate to have our stuff. But people buy our stuff because it's the real deal. See, you can buy fake Gucci or you can buy real Gucci. Real Gucci. And that's fake Gucci. People want the real stuff. That's what they want at the end of the day. They don't want the fakes. That's where you stand at. And in order to prove that you got to be real Gucci, you got to back it up that you are the real deal, that you're 100% legit. Because if you're not, then you're considered to be a copycat and a fake. And nobody wants fakes and copycats. You know why? They're embarrassing. Very embarrassing. They want the real deal. That's why. With that gray paint, I can make a profit off of that. So when I go pop over to Home Depot tomorrow, I might have a talk. I know the manager over there, with them over there. Have a talk about basically them selling their product, some of that great product over there as a home theater screen paint. Let that get nice and soaked into the system for a bit. Let them depend on it. Let them brag about it. And then we come in and basically show what real technology looks like. Gotta know business, gentlemen. Gotta know business. You gotta know business. You gotta know strategy in business. And as for that Series C's mask, no, that stuff is not going to work at all, period. Again, I can't explain it to you enough. Your gain's not correct. It's a lie. So they're going to ask you about that. So that's a lie. You can't back that up. It's rear projection. You can't back that up either. You don't have a big enough specification sheet. You're missing a ton of information. You're missing a ton of demonstrations and tests. And this stuff keeps coming out gray. That's even worse. So no, it's just not. I'm just saying, look, if you want to make a good, I'll tell you something today. If you want to make he can make a good product. You just got to stop lying so much on camera. But he can make a good product. Stop coming with that stupid range gain. That stuff is stupid to begin with. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You're going to have to test your stuff in order to have that gain. It doesn't even exist. Like, what the freak? Even the game count doesn't even exist. Got no information on outdoor applications, nothing at all whatsoever. What about surface compliance? There's nothing there at all, period, on the site about it. So what surface can I paint it to and what surface can I paint it to? What about inflatable screens? I told you before, inflatable screens are temperamental screens. This is a screen literally you're going to ball up into a ball and stick into a bag. Even if you do fold the surface, it's a PVC vinyl. You know what's going to happen when a PVC vinyl picks up moisture and you fold that thing up? You're not going to get it back out the next day because guess what? It's going to basically fuse together. It's going to tear up the screen doing that. So how much testing have you done on this stuff? None at all. That's why we can't find any videos on it. Yeah, a mess. Absolute mess. Oh well, I'm going to start my gray screen venture. They can make our stuff for free. But, you know, they got all that free gray paint in there. I mean, not free, but you're going to pay for it. But they got it in there anyway. They might as well come up with their own gray. You got bare silver screen. I swear, when the bare silver screen came out, literally everybody thought that Home Depot was coming up with their own screen paint. It was like all over the internet. Home Depot's got their own screen paint. Like, what? Home Depot got their own screen. It's called bare silver screen. That's why he did that demonstration about his personal mix versus the bare silver screen. Guess what matched? Yeah, his product matched against bare silver screen. But the bare silver screen is not a screen paint. That's the name they just gave it. Or just imagine, think about that. If they did decide to make their own dedicated gray paint for projection screens, they got it all there. They got the barbecue grills and everything you need. Heck, they even sell seasoning and spices and everything you need. Charcoal, wood, chips, and whatever you want. They got it there. Only thing they need now is just a projection screen and projector. That's it. And they got an ultimate backyard setup. You can walk into Home Depot, pick up your screen, pick up your paint, pick up your patio equipment. You can pick up your barbecue grill with all the accessories attached to it. Heck, there's probably a supermarket right across the street. You can go pick up all your goodies. So what does that mean for your gray paint makers out the door? They can easily crush you because, again, they make their own stuff. They can make any tone they want. So now what do? Can't compete with a chain like Home Depot, can you? Well, we can. Because we tested all their stuff. All that black stuff there, we went and tested all that stuff. That's why we have 70 or more black on black demonstrations from all that testing. So we know when we walk in there, we can go, well, what about ourselves? Yeah, go ahead and knock yourself out. Grab one from me. Matter of fact, give me that one right there. I'll paint that myself into the screen. We'll have a contract in there in no time at all. And then they can advertise and get more money, which they are going to get more money, of having a black outdoor OLED light theater screen. So it's going to sell for 10 times more money than the gray screen. And then they'll be doing demonstrations of a side-by-side demonstration of a gray screen versus a black technology. See, told you. So I got a bunch of people sitting in my account right now at Facebook, and these are people who make manufactured white projection screens. Got about 16 now and counting of them asking us if we want to do a partnership of us coding, or they coding, because I ain't coding jack at the end of the day, but them coding our technology onto their screens. Because when they saw the demonstration of our screen taken out as certified, you know what that does to a white screen at the end of the day? That means the screen you're sitting there charging $500, maybe $200 or $100, coded with that technology over there, you got a technology higher than a $5,000 screen, which means they can charge more money and they'll make a lot of money off our technology. But I haven't gotten to that point yet, so they're just gonna have to wait until I figure out what I want to do. Because I'm not even thinking about that on that level right now. I'm someplace else. And then for people saying, Mr. Murray, that's foolish! Are you kidding me? You see my cardboard box over here? My cardboard box over here can take out any certified screen I want. It's cardboard. I freaking love my cardboard box screen. I love it so much. I love it. I gotta build my volcano. I can do. You can do. But they can do the same thing. Just have to work hard for it. Now I'm saying they can't do it. Yeah, they can. Anybody can. Anybody can. Anybody can. Anybody can work hard. Anybody can achieve whatever they want. Anybody can. But if your whole entire thing is to cut corners and to rip people off, then you gotta bump into people like me. And just ready to work. OLED demonstrations. That's what you run into. You run into people like me. There's plenty of my kind on the internet. And I ask these every year front with these questions. Oh. Light bright, turn out the lights of glowing lights. It's the battery that glows. No, that'd be a Gia Pet. Whoever came with that idea, boy. That was a good idea. That was a really good one. Or the Pet Rock. The Pet Rock is actually my all-time favorite invention. Think about that. Somebody took a rock out of a lot, smoothed it down, put googly eyes on it, put it inside of a box that looked like a cage and called it My Pet Rock. And made millions of dollars off of it. But I bet you, there were some naysayers up there saying, that is the, I probably would have said it myself. Gotta admit, I probably would have said that myself too. It's a rock. Like, I would have sat there and go, what are you thinking? But then, like I said, I wouldn't have determined not to do it. I said, yeah, it's probably a dumb idea, but whatever, go knock yourself out. But there's some people that hate on the extra hard haters. Guy made millions off that idea. Look at the naysayers. And when they see the 50 lumen projector pull up on the screen, come up looking crisp, gorgeous, and lovely, they can't be in the room with it. They can't. It hurts them too much. It hurts them. It hurts them. It's like watching a vampire walk out in the light. They're used to being in the dark. They start screaming and carrying on. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. So when technology hurts you that bad. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. All right, let me see. I want to do. Oh, yeah, I do want to look more into that. Like, why does that come with that color? Let's have a look. I'm curious about that. So we're doing a cardboard splatter screen quick soon. Quick soon. We're doing one soon. Let me see. My day wrong. I feel like going anywhere. Inside about it all. Everything is organized. You don't need to hunt for anything. It's all right here. I want to sling it ink. Sit in spots and just chill. Don't do nothing. Don't move. Don't do that. He'll just sit there and I'm moving something and just stare at me like, what do you expect for me to do? I expect for you to move. White projection screen. Man. Maybe let's sit there and go, well, you know, it's a picks up color. Yeah, sure does. Sure picks up color. YouTube. We're not doing the video, I'm just setting up. That's all supposed to be in black. Oh, jeez. Waves. Okay, snow screensaver. I know naysayers are probably like, that's your screen? No, it's not my screen. That's the smartest Surface screen. That's what I saw in the demonstration when I was doing the misconception of the gray and white screen that can't read contrast. When I went to switch over to a white level, that's what popped up. I'm at a 4,000 lumen projector right now. It's a 1920 by 1200, which has nothing to do with it, but still, it's a 4,000 lumen projector. It's a venue. Black levels should never, ever be that low. That's way too low. That's what I saw. This is what I tell you from the door. For people to call yourself making black products at the end of the day, you haven't done a white level test. Your level should never be that low. And when Mr. Partey called himself on a black versus black, technically your screen wasn't black, it was gray. Because the other person did the exact same demonstration, but except for the difference between yours and his, he switched to a star field demonstration, which your screen came up gray and the other screen came up black. Also shows that you said that was a phantom. That's why we got the investigators to track your whereabouts, because I will be suing you on that statement that you made. That's supposed to be my phantom. That's how black paint pulls up next to our screens. So you want to know what I'm suing you for? That's what I'm suing you for. Defamation for using my face without my permission, for slander of my product, and for claiming that that phantom technology is supposed to be my product, showing off one of our labels. And you're going to be sued for $1 million for it. So you know, it's coming. So my investigator will find you. And as for Mr. Solid Wake 5, I'll have your real name and who you are and where you're at. Because I'm going to sue you also. Now getting back to this right here, yeah, that's a big problem. Did they realize that was going to happen? Like, did they do any testing? They couldn't have done any testing. Now, unlike him, his product is not local. This is local. So some questions I've got to ask. There's a lot of questions I've got to ask. Why is the screen coming up like that? Now when I did the demonstration against our screen, I did the demonstration on our black versus black. I never did a white level test on it. No, it's got me thinking. Whether stuff I don't know, man. I really don't. No white level test was done. They didn't do a white level test on their product. So I can lay a white surface against my screen, hit it, and my screen will never go that dark. Because my screen can generate and read white light. That screen can't read white light. So we have to do some tests on why that surface looks like that. So I'm going to come back in and do my research because I want to shoot some videos for them and I'm going to send it over to them. Because I did ask questions about how the white levels. This is supposed to be a black technology. And this is the reason why I say that stuff has to be tested properly. I'm curious here. Skyworth food demonstration. Didn't test their stuff. You know why? They had the screen on a standalone. That's why. That's why. The screen was sitting on a standalone. You do a screen on a standalone, you don't test it. What happens is you don't know what your screen actually fits into. Sorry, Temple. So you didn't do the screen on a standalone by itself. I need a this makes my job so much easier to know where to get my stuff at.
Well, that's really interesting. A little bit shocked there, you know. So I'm gonna go in and we're done this demonstration because I want to be off topic. Was about me cleaning up my area.
And I'm going to run some tests on the screen. See what's going on here. Why are we coming up like that? That's bad. Look at that reaction from black paint does that. Alright, we'll come back in. We got to do a test on their screen. I never did a white level test, so this will be a chance to dig into this to figure out why this screen's doing this. I'll take some pictures and send it over to them. Alright people, gotta go. I'll be back.